Video games have remarkable advantages over any other form of media in that they are interactive. A game's story can feel more personal and more engaging because the player is an active part of it. However, the games that utilize their inherent interactivity for storytelling are so few that they can be counted using your fingers. So when I stumbled upon a simple game called Dear Esther, I was left in a state of pure amazement. The only thing that the player actually does in this game is explore a deserted island. There is no combat, there are no puzzles, there are no real challenges, nor are there any obstacles to overcome. You simply walk and look around. This may not sound fun, but that's because it isn't necessarily supposed to be. Instead of being designed for merriment, the game was designed to be a vessel for an engaging narrative. The story of Dear Esther is told by a narrator reading letters to his wife, who has apparently died or slipped into a coma. The narrator, however, usually makes very little sense. He will often say things without any context, which makes the story difficult to follow at first. Only through repeated mentioning of concepts and the finding of clues in the environment can the story be pieced together. After the player has formed an idea of what they think is going on, there is no confirmation of what the story was actually about. This leaves the entire work open to interpretation. Even the outline of the story that I gave may not be entirely correct. The only way to actually confirm your understandings of the story is to go through it again, which is not the burden that it sounds like. The game uses semi-randomized dialogue, which means that the narrator won't always tell you the same thing at the same points. Going through the game multiple times can reveal new information which can shed more light on the tale until eventually it all makes sense. Also, a typical playthrough lasts about an hour, so going through it multiple times doesn't take that long at all. I enjoy that the story is open to the interpretation of players, but I do have some problems with the game. The number one of which is the linear environments. The player could simply push W down and get through the game. While it is probably easier to tell a story within a linear environment, I feel that the game could have had, at the very least, included branching paths that would lead to different discoveries. And another thing, while I like the look of the environment, as it emits feelings of loneliness and despair that adds to the overall atmosphere of the game, it's often hard to look at. Usually I don't care about graphics, but oftentimes there will be writings on the walls that I can't read, which makes me feel like I'm missing something that I shouldn't be missing. Ultimately, I enjoyed my experience with Dear Esther. The structure of its story is not often seen in modern video games, so it was very refreshing. It's another symbol of the potential of video games as a major form of art.